It's saying it's testing my YouTube bandwidth. So, I think the last time I did this, I was like just sort of staring at it, but it was still recording. But nevertheless, welcome to the live Raw recap. Again, I'm be doing this going forward. From now on, all Peter's Raw recap will be live. It saves me a hell of a lot of time, and it's YouTube only anyway, so it just only makes sense. So hey, how everybody doing? Did you enjoy the show? I would like to say that I did. I definitely enjoyed the show. And give credit to the Chicago crowd. They were very, very live. And that was to be expected tonight of them, definitely. But if you listen to the New Day podcast earlier, episode 21 with Nathan Newman of the Eyes on the Ring podcast, I was afraid that they were going to basically hijack the show like they always seem to do. They're very much marks for themselves, and that gets pretty annoying when they try to hijack the show and do other things. We only got I think twice we got CM Punk chants and stuff, but for the most part, I like to say that they were well behaved. They gave, they gave the babyface cheers, they gave the heels heat, and I would say that what WWE drew up in terms of what they wanted to present to the Chicago crowd tonight, I'm going to give them an 8.5 out of 10. They really did a marvelous job, and then there were performances that were top notch. I mean, I'm not going to lie. There were some matches, at least 3 matches, that I thought were like damn near pay-per-view worthy, to say the least. But let's go into the show, man, because I'm going to try to wrap this shit up as soon as I can. 'Cause I'm a little tired. You maybe can see it in my eyes or what have you, but that last hour kind of drug a little bit. So, and I got to get up, go to work in the morning. So I'm gonna run through this. So tonight, Raw was in Chicago, right? And it starts off with Shane McMahon. You think the pop up in Detroit was good? The pop here was ridiculous. It was, and in Chicago's own way, they had to outdo Detroit. They just had to do it, and most certainly they did. Huge ovation. He comes out and speaks about what his father said, and you know, you get some jackasses, some of them trying to do what chants. It's like, come on, man, chill the fuck out. And that got deaded real quick. They got deaded extremely quick. He talks about his dad and how he's a out of touch old bastard, and that he's basically because of how out of touch he is with his fans and with his workers and all that stuff, he's basically driving the business into the ground. His destiny, Shane's destiny, he says it, is to take over Raw and to own the company. That's his destiny, which is true because he's the heir apparent. He's the son. He's the next in line. So why not? You get a bunch of yes chants. He's basically calling out everything that's choking the life out of the business. And then he mentions how talent. There's some people with talent that don't get pushes, and then there's some people without talent that get pushes. And it was like, ooh, that's a jab. I bet the boys in the back definitely felt that shoot. And then out of nowhere, and actually on my Instagram under Ellen Japanese, LINJAPANESE, LINJAPANESE. Ellen Japanese on my Instagram account, I actually recorded my live reaction to the gong and the fact that we were thinking that there was going to be a possible Undertaker confrontation. And, oh man, I was like, oh shit, the place went crazy. The lights go out. It's like, oh fuck, it's about to go down. But it's Vince McMahon, and he's trolling everyone, and it's very, very Vince McMahon fashion. That's not the first time he's done some dumb shit like that. Got us good though. Got him real good. And let's just say this. They go back and forth. The only thing that really stands out in Vince's promo is that he talks about a photo that he took with his son, with Vince, with Shane. And it was a photo of them finally going, Shane finally going to his first Monday night, would it be his first Monday Night Raw? Yeah, I guess so. Or, yeah, first Raw. And he takes the photo and he breaks the photo. And that's the only thing that stands out. And he talks about, another thing that stands out is like he talks about how the Undertaker's basically going to defeat him, right? He's going to defeat him. And when he's all busted up and bruised and he's being carried off into an ambulance, he's going to console his grandsons, he's like, your dad's a failure, whatever. Just an insult, just a huge insult to pile on what he said last week about him basically disowning his son. And he's going to kick him out. And he's like, yeah, get him out. Because I think he makes a comment like, my greatest creation is going to go up against my greatest failure. Undertaker basically go up against Shane-O-Mack. But, so check this shit out, right? He's had enough of Shane McMahon in the building. So he sends out some security jabronis, right? And Shane's like, hey, I'll leave them on my own accord. But if these guys touch me, I'm going to whoop their ass. I'm pissed off tonight. And sure enough, the security, because, you got Vince McMahon breathing down their necks to take him out. And they do, and they all get their ass kicked by Shane-O-Mack. So this is the first physical interaction we've seen with Shane-O-Mack since he's been back. Well, this is only his second thing, but his second appearance. But he kicks up on everyone's ass. All the poor jabroni security guys takes an ass whooping from Shane-O-Mack. It looked kind of weird, but nevertheless, it was Shane. It was a good time. He clears the ring, and that was the opening segment. Things are heating up. Kevin Owens versus Neville in the first match. Fucking amazing match. And Neville shows his ass. Neville shows his motherfucking ass. I mean, it's a shame that a guy like Neville is used as a white meat baby face bait to the heels. The guy is so talented. The guy does things that are just so extraordinary. Like what he's able to do with his body on the ground, in the air, is unmatched. It really is. Pac is a fucking beast. And Neville's a fucking beast. But he just cannot get... Every time you think that they're going to do something serious with them, they just say, no, that's okay. And this is this example of this match is just... The guy is so unreal. But he just can't get over. I mean, in Shane-O-Mack's opening promo, he talks about that. You got the guys with the talent who just can't get a break. And Neville is definitely one of them. And if you go, I can go over this match, but I'm just point out, he did a standing shooting star press off the top rope outside the ring onto Kevin Owens. It was amazing. And it wasn't even minutes later when he does a reverse. He does another thing off the fucking top rope, and then he does a reverse red arrow off the second buckle. I mean, I can't even speak anything more than what the fuck that's all about. Because the difficulty level, the lower you are to the ground to be able to pull off twisty turns in the fucking air, is pretty fucking high, And he does it with ease on the second buckle. And he hits that shit. And he goes for the pin. And Owens kicks out. But this was after Owens himself tries to do like a backflip off the top buckle. Crowd going crazy. I mean, definitely one of those matches that really set the night off. And I bet they were back in Gorillas like, look, dude, let's steal the show. You know, we're going to be the opening of match and we're going to steal the show. And it was a tough match to follow. But Kevin Owens actually gets the win by basically overpowering Neville for the pin, for the 1-2-3 victory. It's like, I've had enough of this shit. I'm just going to basically roll you up into a fucking sushi roll and count to 3. As he goes to pick the bones of Sami Zayn, of Neville, you hear the music. Oh, 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 let's go. And he comes charging down for the save. And they go back and forth. But basically Sami Zayn gets the upper hand and tosses out Kevin Owens as Kevin Owens retreats. And something we were talking about earlier, we found out that Sami Zayn is now on the card for Roadblock, going up against Kevin Owens. How this was going to go down, we just found out how it was going to go down. Because they have, if you remember, if you watch the show, you watch NXT, they have unfinished business to take care of, because we all remember how that shit went down where Kevin Owens debuts and then he basically double crosses Sami Zayn after he wins the championship. I think from Neville, of all people, ironically. And yeah, like this is it. Basically, is a reintroduction to this feud that has to continue because of the arm injury by Sami Zayn, and he had to sort of bail out. So here we go. Is he back? Is he on the main roster right now? I think he's still on NXT. He still has to go up against Samoa Joe or whatever with that whole storyline down to get the NXT championship. But for now, he's going to grace the main roster for a while, at least for this one pay-per-view or super house show that is Roadblock. Rock, there's a spot where Rock's talking about WrestleMania, that he has a gift, or I don't know, who cares. Ziggler and Stephanie backstage over like a tweet that the WWE had him take down, discussing the fact that he took out the Authority on Survivor Series 2 fucking years ago. They're still sour about that. That's so surprising. That was 2 years ago. And I think it's a shame that Dolph Ziggler actually, that's all he has. Oh yeah, I did this thing 2 years ago. Fucking hilarious. But Stephanie is still full of piss and vinegar, and she sets up a match, single elimination match against the League of Nations, which is Wade Barrett, Rusev, and Sheamus. But the only singles elimination that's going to take place is that of the League of Nations. Ziggler doesn't have any tag. He's basically have to go on his own. So if he takes out somebody, that's a single elimination for the League of Nations. If Ziggler loses, he just loses. But it's basically a fuck you from Stephanie McMahon. We got Summer Rae versus Brie. And I'm like, what? Do you know what city we're in right now? You're going to give them Summer Rae and fucking Brie Bella. Okay, let's see how this turns out. But Lana shows up during this match, and it's like, it really is. It was something. Even that little bit of time that it's going on is kind of tough to go by. To follow, but nevertheless, it got out of there quick because Lana shows up, and we get a distraction roll up. Yay, distraction roll up. And then as she's pissed off, Brie, that is, she's reeling and like kind of mad and kind of beating herself up, Lana turns her ass around, kicks her in the gut, and drops her with the Bella Buster. So, talk about chicken salad. It was a chicken salad moment, to say the least. But as for Summer Rae, winning streak. That's her second. That's a second straight win. So, Keita was, talking about how that's not a winning streak. I'm like, well, shit, 2 in a row for Summer Rae? Yeah, you may as well. That's Goldberg standard right there for her, and we'll see what happens. But basically, this is definitely something just setting up for the Lana Brie Bella feud, which is like a very odd one. We all have to just kind of sit back and wait and see what they actually do with this feud. It's the whole idea of the Lana finally gets into the ring. And then you got Brie, who's not that great. We only hope for the best out of this feud because the WWE seems gung-ho about doing this. And will Lana become a permanent in-ring performer? One can only tell. But we've been talking about her being in the ring for almost a year and a half now. I think it's time for her to finally sink or swim, to say the least. We go into the 9 o'clock hour, and then we get like a back and forth between Dean Ambrose and Triple H. Nothing really said, nothing really done that was special. It's something about these spots for Dean Ambrose that are just bad. I didn't enjoy this promo. I didn't enjoy this segment. Just get in the ring and finally fight. Saturday cannot come fast enough just to sort of end this program between the two of them. Giving that much mic time to Dean Ambrose. Sometimes I think he does better bouncing off of people, bouncing off of Reigns, bouncing off of, I don't know, God knows, anyone else. It's just that it got to a point where I just kind of tuned it out. But all fucking full of piss and vinegar. Oh man, the McMahons are fucking stupid, man. They're crazy, and Helms. Everyone's full of piss and vinegar tonight. He sets a match up with Bray Wyatt to be like, "Fuck you, you're gonna fight Bray Wyatt." We get the single elimination match between Dolph Ziggler versus the League of Nations, which is again Wade Barrett, Rusev, and Sheamus. Guess who wins? The League of Nations. But Wade Barrett, for his troubles, he gets eliminated. Oh, they eliminate. They couldn't just do this clean, Like, if you're going to lose this, why are you going to fucking sacrifice Wade Barrett? It's Dolph Ziggler, Like, if this is a punishment, then just make it a full-on punishment. Right? Just have that fucker go down in flames and make the League of Nations look strong. But nope. And maybe it's the piss and vinegar that is the McMahons towards Wade Barrett and him not renewing that contract. Nope. They would have done that shit to him anyway. All right? But Ziggler loses to a brogue kick. There's a moment where he's sort of thrown over to the rope and he lands. And Rusev kicks him in the face, and then he gets up and catches a brogue kick. That's how that goes down. We get a Shane in-ring tribute. We go through the years of Shane McMahon in the ring and how crazy he is, and the big body bumps that he has taken, sacrificed his body for the company, and he didn't really have to, but it was a good tribute. It was pretty fun. And plus, on top of the fact that we got some physicality out of him earlier in the show, to show this, they're really trying their best to build Shane as an actual threat to the Undertaker. I still don't buy it, but nevertheless, it's still all fun. I'm having fun with this. You get Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks backstage. And they're basically just bickering over what's going to happen. They're just bickering. I mean, they're like the odd couple, basically. And they're talking about how they're going to team up and defeat Tamina and Naomi again. We get to the match. Naomi and Tamina versus Sasha Banks and Becky Lynch. And the Flair's at ringside. Whatever, man. It's a shame to see Naomi in this sort of situation. It sucks. I think if I was to pick out one person that I was unhappy with the direction of that they're going, and honestly, I don't see it changing. Naomi, what's happening with Naomi is criminal. More than Dolph, more than you name it. You name the talent. I don't think there's one person that even measures up to how much they just refuse to give Naomi any kind of fucking rub. It sucks. And this match stunk for her. She actually taps out to the bank statement, and it's like, man, oh well. I mean, we can't win them all. But what happens is that after that, Charlotte runs into the ring and takes out both Becky and Sasha, and she stands tall over them as we await their triple threat match at WrestleMania. I mean, we still have some time. I wonder how they're gonna do this story, do this plot until then. They still got 3 weeks. We'll see. The Golden Truth backstage. R-Truth is now trying to woo Goldust into sticking with him and becoming the Golden Truth. Last week, Goldust shoves food. This is SmackDown. He shoves food in his face. Well, last Monday, R-Truth basically tells him to fuck off. On SmackDown, he's like, "Hey man, let's do it." And now this week, this Monday, he dresses up as a police pizza delivery guy. He wants to give Goldust a treat, that being a Chicago-style pizza. Come to find out that Goldust is lactose intolerant and that he has an exploding butt. And that's how that ends, basically, him mad. And it's something I've noticed. It's almost like almost all the fucking segments between the two of them deal with food somehow. Christ. Henry shows up and takes the pizza. And he's like, "Man, I love Chicago. Cheap pop." They loved anyway. You gotta love when Mark Henry shows up. We get to the third hour, and we get to the New Day versus Styles and Jericho. They even have Y2AJ shirts prepared. Oh, as soon as I saw it, I was like, no way. No fucking way are they going to actually make shirts for this shit. And they did. They did. But it came to a screeching halt for that merchandise. Let me see if I could get one on the discount. Because we found out later that that's the case. And this is for the Tag Team Championships. So this spawns from last Monday when Styles and Jericho defeated the New Day and basically issued the challenge for the tag team belts. This is... They saw that. I imagine they saw the Kevin Owens Neville match, right? And they're like, dude, we got to top that shit. And that's what the fuck they did. They went out there fucking blazing. Everyone's clicking. AJ shined. Kofi Kingston did the damn thing. Jericho looked like he had some fire up his ass. You had Big E, who's killing it, man. They're fucking going at it. Near falls. AJ Styles doing a whole bunch of just innovative offense, the thing that we know and love from him by either watching ROH and or New Japan. I mean, he goes out there, he fucking kills it. And everyone's killing it. This should have been a WrestleMania match, honestly. I'll say this. I'll put it out there. That was, you strike it when it's hot, man, and that's what it was. That shit was hot. Chicago crowd going crazy, man. The commentating is fucking excellent. It really was a great time. Until the code breaker gets reversed into a big ending, resulting in the New Day retaining the belts. And as I see AJ and I see Chris Jericho basically sort of reeling from the effects, and you see it. Earlier today, I said I thought that AJ Styles was actually going to turn on Chris Jericho. I did say that. I put that out there. It's a good thing they didn't. Because the heat that Jericho got when he fucking started fucking AJ up with those code breakers, it was gold. That was heat. He has him with 3 code breakers, man. 3 code breakers. So it seems we will get, I mean, I don't know if they're going to do this for Roadblock. I hope they don't do it. I mean, I think Roadblock is going to be like a 3-hour show. So maybe, just maybe, that will be on Roadblock. But I would only hope that this makes it to WrestleMania. 3 weeks seems like it's like 3 months away. Because the way that these storylines are going and how much everyone's touching each other, it's just hard to keep up. I mean, it's hard to not necessarily keep up, but it's hard to keep interest. I mean, within 3 weeks, are we going to be tired of this shit? They gave us too much too soon. And this AJ Styles, Chris Jericho thing is one of them, man. It's definitely one of them. At the very end, the shirt, what the fuck is it called? Y2AJ shirts, the specially made shirts. He walks over, grabs the shirt, and stuffs it in AJ Styles' mouth. And it was just weird. He calls him a son of a bitch, too. So that was good stuff. I would say that entire segment, my favorite segment of the night. On a good show. And backstage, Renee, investigative reporter Renee, runs up on Jericho, basically, why did you do it? Why did you do it? And he's all like, because I'm a jealous bitch. I'm out there busting my ass, and they're yelling, AJ Styles. Like, fuck him. He got what he deserved. And that's how that segment ended. Again, very enjoyable. Kalisto versus Tyler Breeze. Kalisto's win with the Del Sol. There you have it. We get a boss man. Oh, yeah, by the way. We found out earlier today by CBS. They actually outreached to CBS this time. So far, it's been like the Rolling Stone, TMZ, ESPN, Now CBS is on board for this shit. That's crazy. I mean, I don't know why, being that the WWE works with NBC, I find it very odd. But nevertheless, they got it out there. And the big boss man is going into the Hall of Fame. I just wish he was alive to be able to give an induction speech. That's all. If you want more how I felt about it, make sure you go one video back to the New Day podcast, episode 21. I get everything right. I think it's called I'm Always Right. So go check that out. We actually go into that maybe a little much at the beginning. I think the 10-minute mark we start talking about the Hall of Fame inductee that is the big boss man with the killer spine buster. After that, Kalisto is in the back, and he basically cuts the same promo he cuts every time about, being white meat babyface and Rey Mysterio and Guerrero and WrestleMania. I'm going to WrestleMania. We found out earlier today in the discussion of the New Day podcast that he will be defending that belt against Ryback, right? So, okay, let's see how this happens. So after he gives his white meat babyface promo, Kalisto, that is. Ryback shows up and lectures him. It was so odd. He's lecturing the guy. It was nothing really heat worthy about this fucking promo that Ryback is cutting. He sounds like he's lecturing Kalisto about breaking up with Sin Cara to go at it on his own. It was pretty fucking hilarious, and it just kept going It kept going. He kept talking, and he kept talking, and he kept talking, and he kept talking. I'm like, God damn, make it stop. Somebody make this shit stop. And it finally stopped. And he's like, well, check it. I will show you what it means to be like a badass or something. And as I defeat the social butterfly or some shit. Damn, Ryback. That was pathetic. Well, either way, we get Curtis Axel versus Ryback. The social outcast promo they cut earlier was funny. It was really funny, especially when he got to Curtis Axel. It's like, your win over Rose was luck, but I will arise or something. It was just funny. He goes, yeah, yeah, and they start doing the yas. I thought that was fucking hilarious. I know I did that segment no justice, but it was pretty fucking funny. But Ryback wins, man. I mean, Axel, they unleashed the chains. And he goes wild. He runs basically wild on Ryback almost the entire time, but like it turns into a shoot where he's just basically beating him up. Not a lot of wrestling. He's just basically punching him, punching him, punching him, punching him, punching. And then Ryback basically flips him over, starts punching the shit out of him, reminiscent to him beating the shit out of Adam Rose. And here he just basically beats the living shit out of Axel, puts him up in the shell shock, and then he leaves again. He doesn't stick around for his victories at all. Look, I got some chat up in here. What is this? Kid J. Okay. Handicap. What is this? Handicap elimination match. Rusev, Sheamus, and Barrett defeats Dolph Ziggler. WWE trying to build up Dolph Ziggler and Ryback. You think it's too late for both guys? I don't think it's too late for Ziggler because he's going to always have a crowd following. He's always been kind of like an internet darling. If you just put him in... he did it to himself by going after John Cena's old lady because they used to date. Brie, Nikki Bella and Dolph used to be involved. There's an episode of Total Diva that dives into him basically trying to get her back. That didn't fly too well. So that's why he's been in the doghouse for such a long time. Ryback, he had a moment where he looked like he was going to have a comeback, but they ruined it. They just straight out ruined it because he kept losing. He couldn't get no momentum. And not enough people like him. Always Goldberg chance to where there's a chance for him to do anything. If anything, he just needs to kind of go away for a while because it looks like what he's doing with the Kalisto, he's about to get into that whole bully thing again because the whole, like his size and all that shit, and even the promo he cut talking about, like all these superheroes, blah, 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 blah. I think Dolph Ziggler has more of a chance than Ryback, but we'll have to see what happens moving forward. We get a segment in the back. I'm going to run through this. With Vince and Stephanie, and they're both concerned about what could possibly happen with Shane. And even though they hate him, there seems to be a little bit of concern. We get to the main event, which is Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt. A decent enough match. We've seen it before. Those two guys have probably fought more than anybody on the roster over the past 2 years. So it's not like anything special happened here, but there's no winner. It ends in DQ. The Wyatt family shows up after it looks like they actually Dean Ambrose looks like he gets a head of steam and looks like he's about to take him out. The fucking Wyatt show up and they call it the DQ. And then an interesting moment happened because Triple H comes out again at the end of the night. He has to come out at the end again to basically stand over Ambrose. You can't defy the fucking authority. Bray Wyatt got right up in Triple H's face. And it was just an interesting moment because as they're standing there and as Triple H gets into the ring, all I'm thinking to myself is, are the Wyatts are just going to stand by as Triple H basically like moves in on their turf right now? Or is there going to be a little bit of retaliation? And sure enough, I was waiting for it, but then it happened. And you just got Bray Wyatt in Triple H's face, and it looked cool. It looked like something, you know. He's been booked to so much shit. He hasn't. His stakes have been so low. The only stakes that were high so far, seriously, since this motherfucker has debuted as Bray Wyatt, is the Undertaker match. He had an opportunity to basically beat him while he was down and possibly, you know, move forward as like the next dark force of the WWE. But then that got snatched. Everything else has just been like kind of whatever, man. And Triple H is like a big deal. When he got up in his face, I popped.